A little question and answer here. I think, to relax, a lot of people let their mind drift in other places. In other words, like my aunt when she had her surgery, I said, how do you relax your mind, when you're nervous or scared? She said, I just think about the beaches of Florida, and a lot of people, thinks it's different things to help relax their mind. What do? I think of my grandma's house in Maineville, Ohio. Absolutely loved my grandma's house. Very nice place to take a nap, stay all night. I think the house was built in 1900. And I think a rumor one time, back in 1900, it was a funeral home. I don't know. I don't know how clear. I seen a picture of it. My aunt had a picture of it back in 1900, and she didn't know that rumor either. But the house, I'll tell you where the house is at. You locals, it's yellow, painted yellow now, I think. If you go to Maineville, as you're going into Maineville, up a long hill, then you finally get to the red caution light, the intersection. Now, if you back up, it's a house after the white one that sets back in there a little bit. I think it's yellow. It's where I grew up at least partly, because we lived about 3 miles due south, Dallas. I think it's 3 miles due south on the corner of Dallasburg and Goshen, Murdoch. But my grandma's house, I loved it over, and she had these most beautiful roses. Like they were 3 or 4 bushes. Oh, I loved. And she had Tammy, her house cat. Man, that thing was long and big. But her garden, and I never forget her burning her garbage way back at the end of the fence, toward right at the edge of her property on the left. She always had this barrel, which had real neat, which had holes in the bottom. She always burned her garbage. I love smelling that garbage because she just burnt paper in it. But in her garden. But she had a big, long backyard and a huge tree. We used to climb those trees. And the TV was hard. I mean, the only time the TV was on, Dad was watching a little bit. But once in a while, Mom would make Sister and I take a nap upstairs. And my grandma's house, even my dad said this, it was so cozy. And it had the smell of these. It had a unique smell. I love the smell of the old house. It had a cotton ball smell. Oh, I loved it. And we used to go take a nap upstairs, around and to the front bedroom. And it was so quiet up there to take a nap. It really was. There was no noise, just a little from the road. But back in those days, that wasn't a lot of traffic noise. It was just so. It's like that wall had blocked the noise. I just loved taking a nap now that's my mom's mom. Go ahead and say Grandma Pitzer. I'm trying to think how I pronounced my grandma's first name. Charletta? I know my mom's mad at me for butchering that up, but my grandma Pitzer, she passed away in 1991. She's buried at Maineville Cemetery. She's the sweetest person on this earth. And a lot of if you see my pictures as when I was a kid, some of them was taken at the house, but just a wonderful childhood home to grow up. Your grandma's house. I just loved that house, and I cherish that house. Just a wonderful place to relax. And my cousins lived right next door. My first cousins, 2 of them lived right next door, and we used to go and we were always playing. When I was at home and Mom and Dad say, let's get in the car to go to Grandma's house, go to Maine, usually they say, let's go to Granny's. Dad always said Granny's. I was thrilled to death to go to Granny's house. Thrilled to death. What I hated when it was time to go home. We'd be all the way back in the yard and Mom or Dad, usually 99% was Mom, Greg, Jilly, we're going home. She's yelling it because the yard's so long. I hated hearing that, going home. God, I hated that. And I remember saying as a kid, when I grow up, I'm going to buy this place. And it's for sale now, but my cousin says they want too much for it. and I looked it up, and they do, but it's for sale on commercial. Oh, my grandma's house. I cherish it forever. Oh. In Maineville, I think a lot of you local people already know, Maineville, Ohio. I think a lot of people, you already know about the storage buildings in Maineville, Ohio. You probably know the name better than I do. Anyway, I grew up with the girl that owns them. Yeah, I won't give her a first name for a privacy thing, but I forget what she calls them. You know, they own all those her and her husband now owns all that storage buildings in Maineville, Ohio. You know, Warren County. I grew up with her. We used to play hopscotch with her. My cousin didn't get along too good with her. You know how kids are. We did have a little friction with her. I can't remember. Seemed like she might have been a little hard to get along with. I can't remember, but I remember, you know how kids bicker. Remember, we used to bicker with her a lot, but we still play with her. You know, typical kids world. Sidewalk in Maineville, man, in front of their house and my grandma's house. There was only 2 houses above us, or above us. It was my cousin's and hers, her and her mom and dad's. And those sidewalks between there, alongside those 3 houses, my grandma's, cousins, and hers, man, we used to play a lot of hopscotch on those sidewalks. If you could see those sidewalks, the history would be chalk lines drawn all over. You know how you make hopscotch lines. Man, we used to do a lot of hopscotch on them sidewalks. Halloween. You kids today don't know what Halloween fun is. Back in those days, in the 70s, there was no time limit. I think the city ordinance was as long as there was a porch light on. If it was 1 o'clock, if there was a porch light on, everybody turned their porch lights off. That wasn't participating in giving out candy. If the porch light was on, that was Halloween candy. Come up to the door. But I don't remember. It may have been. I don't know. You know, I'm thinking back to the 1970s. But I don't think there was. I think there was a time when I think it was maybe. I can't. It seemed like it was a time when it started. But I remember it. I don't think. I may be wrong, but I do remember the porch light. As long as there was a porch light on, they was giving out Halloween candy. And the time, just about the time I was too old to go. That's when you didn't hear of the scare people putting razor blades in candy, you know, all this, all that. Just about the age I was just on the drawing line. Just about the age I was too old to go. Then you started hearing rumors taking your candy to Bethesda North to have your candy x-rayed for razor blades and needles like that. So my lifetime, so that was almost perfectly timed. In other words, it didn't ruin. That scare didn't ruin my Halloween at all. No, I was just getting just a little too old to go. I went maybe another year. That was about it. But you know, those days you didn't think nothing of eating You didn't think nothing about eating your Halloween candy. I remember it seemed like the last year we went. Mom started. I think one time she started going through our candy a little bit. Just remember her telling us to be careful, but we didn't. I don't think we ever even thought about having an X-ray. But I remember my grandma saying, you know, times are bad when you got to take your candy or your fear of eating your candy. But we didn't fear a little bit because of the news and rumors, but nothing. You know, it would just you know. I think a razor blade had been or a needle had been found in some state or something. It's very very rare. But we never. I do remember when I would bite into a snigger slowly. Well, it ain't funny. I remember slowly biting into it, hoping I wouldn't get a razor blade. I do remember that. But that scare came toward the end when I got too old for it. So it didn't ruin my years of Halloween. Now my cousin, because it's satanic, it deals with satanic. My cousin will not, and you know, he had Halloween with us. To this day, he will not let his kids do trick or treat because of the supposedly satanic ritual behind it. He won't. No, my aunt told me that he won't let his kids do trick or treating.